Hello everyone, we're back. Today's episode of f.a.q for the month of December, episode number 10, with my fancy new sweater gifted by a fellow colleague. It's a Christmas dog sweater, feeling a little festive. This is the only time you'll catch me doing it, so let's get right into it. First question, common stomp pedal for jazz guitar. Well, if I was a jazzer, which I'm not, can't play jazz for I'd get a good compressor pedal and a nice reverb pedal. So preferably a compressor with a blend knob so it doesn't get in the way of your beautiful clean tone. So I'd recommend my two favorite compressors, which are the exotic SP compressor or the Wampler Ego/Ego Mini compressor. And for reverb pedal, if you like spring reverb, the best spring reverb I can recommend is the Source Audio True Spring. But if you're on a severe budget, you can check out the TC Electronic Drip Spring Reverb, and we have demos for both of those on our channel. Next question, teach us how to use a pitch shifter pedal as a drop tune pedal. Now, it is not ideal to use a pitch shifter as a drop tune pedal because there are certain, there could be a slight latency, but you can do it. I've done a comparison video comparing the EHX pitch fork against the Digitech drop, where I use the pitch fork to down tune my tuning. So the key there is to turn the blend knob all the way so you can just hear the wet signal and none of your dry signal. And it worked to drop tune, but you can still hear the slight latency. So the best thing to get is still the Digitech drop pedal. And basically all you have to do if you only have a pitch shifter is to just turn the blend knob all the way to the right, and if that's the case, and make sure that you can only hear the wet signal and none of the dry signal. Next question, are there any rig builders in Malaysia? I guess there's one, Asno Guitar Kopa. He does pedal boards mainly, but I'm sure he can help you put together a rig if that's what you want. When you say rig, I tend to think of, you know, those refrigerator size effects racks and stuff like that. So yeah, I only know one, Asno Guitar Kopa. Look him up on Facebook. Next question. Most beautiful sounding reverb pedals under 1K. So I have a few selections here. If you love spring reverb, definitely the Source Audio True Spring Reverb. There's a demo on our channel, you can check that out. Absolutely amazing. Even John May uses the pedal. Another option is, as most of you would know, is the Earthquaker Devices Dispatch Master. I love the reverb on that, and it is a dual function pedal with delay and reverb. Other alternative options from Earthquaker Devices is the Afterneath, which is a much more tweakable and usable Boss Terra Echo basically. So the Afterneath I feel is much more smoother and nicer, and you can tweak that little trail which the Boss Terra Echo can't do. And for something a bit more funky, you can check out the Earthquaker Devices Astral Destiny, and finally of course the Uniber Immerse reverb pedal. And recently I just demoed one of the new pedals from Uniber. It's the Wet, but version 5. You can check that out on our channel. It was absolutely beautiful. Next question. Will Music Bliss bring guitar brands like Legator or GOC in the future? Well, they say never. You'll never know. The future is a mystery. God knows what will happen in 2022 or 10 years from now. Next question. Scarlett 2i2 versus SSL. So this is a good question. I've used the 2i2 Gen 1 and then I moved to 2i4 Gen 2, and now I'm finally using the SSL 2 Plus. So what prompted the switch to SSL was because that my Scarlett driver couldn't work with Windows anymore. It was duplicating the drivers by itself, so Windows got confused and it couldn't really detect which driver to use. So at the end I swapped to SSL, and I don't think I can ever go back now. I find that the DI signal is a bit more cleaner, just a tad, and that 4K switch, which introduces a bit more grit and compression to your signal, is a beautiful thing when you're tracking bass guitars, because I feel like when you plug in a bass guitar and you're tracking rock and metal bass guitar, that 4K button just seems to add that additional oomph to the overall bass DI tone. So, and it's way more stable. It did not drop out like the Scarlett used to on my Windows machine. So the SSL is a much more stable working interface for me right now. Next question, I guess. What happened to Digitech? Now, I'm unsure of the complete story here, but basically they were down for a while because the Harman group of products such as Digitech, JBL and various other brands under that tree was bought over by Samsung. And what happened was that when Samsung took a look at all the different brands in this group, Digitech was a very small company that brought in probably the least revenue compared to all the rest. So there was talks that they were going to let go Digitech and things like that. So they still happen to be running, the pedals are still in production, so I'm unsure where they stand in terms of shutting down Digitech or carrying on with production of their pedals. Hey, you know what? Next question. Kenapa janggut sama macam John pencuci Janggut dia yang sama dengan aku kot. Ikut aku lah kau ni.
Next question.
What is red padel? Apa padel dalam bahasa Melayu? Dayung Dayung. Red dayung Entah red dayung. Tapi red punya pedal aku tahu lah. So the red pedal, talking about the Proco red pedal, the red 2, turbo red, fat red, you dirty red, Houston red. There's so many reds. It is a hard clipping pedal with a particular op amp. I forgot the name of the chip. I can't remember. I'm not that big of a nerd. That's what delivers the tone of the red, making it extremely versatile to get from overdrive to distortion to even fuzzy-like tones. And we actually have a couple modern iterations of I can't pronounce anything today. It's early in the morning, I can't pronounce shit. We have modern iterations of the rat in our store. If you want a slightly more tweakable rat, you can check out the Wampler Rat's Bane, the brand new pedal from them, miniature sized. And of course, if you're on a budget, for the price of one Proco Rat 2, you can get the TC Electronic Megas Pro, which combines 3 different types of rats in one pedal for the price of one Proco Rat. So they combine the original rat, the turbo rat, as well as the fat rat all in one pedal, and we have a demo of that on our channel, so please check it out. Next question. Analog or digital multi-effects? Both. Buy everything. I wouldn't say analog is better than digital or digital better than analog. They're both good. They complement each other, so both. Next question. Boss Katana versus Blackstar Silverline shootout video. Bro, I'm just gonna tell you straightforward, I prefer the Katana. I don't really like the Silverline. Yes, it's a huge step from the ID Core series. So I believe that the Silverline is kind of like, to me, is a hybrid of the ID Core and the ID TVP, I think. So the TVP had the tube emulation thing in that series of amps, and then you have the ID Core which had the effects and different clean and distorted and mid-gain channels. So they kind of like combine those two concepts and put it into the Silverline. The Silverline, I feel, is a step up from the ID Core in terms of the type of speaker and the level of compression, because I hate the ID Core. Just my opinion, I hate the ID Core. So the Silverline is definitely an improvement over the ID Core. But if you are a pedal guy and you're using pedals, I don't feel that, because essentially it's a digital amp with built-in effects, and it doesn't take pedals as well as the Boss Katana. Boss Katana is still way more versatile. What I like about it is, of course, you can take pedals very easily, but at the same time, let's just say your pedal board fails or your multi-effects fails, you can program the Katana. For example, the Katana 100 has up to 4 channels, and if you use a foot switch, you can double it up and have 8 channels. So you can actually pre-program all your tones in that amp using the Boss Tone Studio, which has the collection of all the Boss stomp pedals and stuff in there. So you can easily dial in all your favorite Boss effects into 8 different presets and use that as a backup, or use that as the main thing for your show. Next question. What are your thoughts on the Behringer UM2? Extremely affordable, allows people to start recording at a very low price. But I've said this countless amount of times, why it's cheap is because it doesn't contain any software plugins for you to try out and things like that. It is bare bones, just an interface. So when you step up to a Scarlett or pre-Sonos or anything that's double the price or triple the price, you're already getting a complete starter pack. You get a DAW, you get a basic plugins, compressor, reverb plugins and things like that. And I remember there was once that Focusrite was doing a free plugin for every user every month for them to try out, which you will never get with the UM2. So yeah, it's good to start with it just to learn how to use an interface, but I think you're better off buying something slightly more expensive or mid-range and get a complete software bundle together with the interface. Next question. What's the biggest advancement in music gear over the last 5 years? Coming from a guitarist perspective, I feel that the biggest achievement is that with the development of impulse responses, allowing digital multi-effects to sound as real as the real thing, as close as you can get to tube amps in a room. I feel that with that, it allowed people to record more conveniently at home, trying to get a tone similar, not the same, similar to being in a studio with a mic'd up tube amp. Also, I feel that with the introduction of interfaces and home recording bundles and stuff like that, it has allowed the user, the home user, to get into the basics of production, learning how to start post-production effects, things like that, so you can familiarize yourself with things before going into an actual studio. So I feel that the biggest advancements are, of course, impulse responses and much more cheaper recording equipment for home users. Next question. What is the optimal string action height and string gauge for acoustic guitar, for solo on acoustic? It's up to you, man. Your choice. There is no rule what you like, what you don't like. Stevie Ray Vaughan used 13s on his Strat. What can you say about that? I sure as hell can't use 13 on a Strat and solo like he does. So, whatever you like, you don't need to listen to anyone. Listen to your heart. Listen to your heart.
Listen to your heart when he's calling for you.
I got this mysterious package from China. I didn't order it. I don't know why it came in the mail, but that's the next question, right? What are the top brand for Shimmer pedals? So of course, the top one that came out many moons ago was this Strymon Blue Sky / Big Sky, some beautiful sounding reverbs, and then you had the introduction of the Uniber Seraphim Shimmer pedal. So those were some of the two big boys, as I can recall, about 5-6 years ago. Those were the top Shimmer pedals. And then you had Mr. Black Eterna, that was famous about 6-7 years ago. Many people used to get that. And then following that, I think as the years have progressed, a lot more affordable pedals started incorporating shimmer effects, like the RV6 has a shimmer, the Oceans 11 has a shimmer, and then Uniber updated their Immerse pedal to have the shimmer built into that. The MXR Reverb is another beautiful sounding pedal with shimmer, and then you have like the Source Audio Ventris. And if you're stuck on a budget, you can check out the TC Electronic Fluorescence shimmer pedal. It's like under 300 ringgit. And if you're curious, you know, like the Immerse is like a 900 ringgit pedal, and of course it has many different reverbs, but how would that shimmer mode compare to like the TC Electronic Fluorescence? You can check out a video comparison on our channel comparing those shimmer modes. And I believe we also have like a really old video comparing the Big Sky against the Uniber. Check that out. So those are all the questions for this jolly month of Christmas, and it's been a good year, and we'll see you all next year. Don't forget to follow our Instagram, where we post stories to ask you guys questions to ask us, and stay safe and see you next year.